stuff today. It's not just any particular thing. If you know something that we're playing, please sing along. If you can harmonize, please harmonize. And I know there are people in here that can sing. I'm looking out, and so please sing along with us if you know what it is. We're going to start with something that's got a little bit of pep to it. Got it there, Noah? Go ahead. If any of you know him, and Paul taught us the song. He'd heard it on the radio station down in Winchester someplace. So we learned that. It was not a cold, frosty morning. It was a warm morning in July. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit of everything. I think this song was written by a man who lives in West Virginia. I'm going to sing this because my wife's here and she likes this song. It's called Shantytown Beggar.
Okay, gotcha.
G-E. Got her, Noah? There lived a man in a mining shack I got a little story to tell about this one, and these guys have told me that I'm not allowed to speak very long, so I have to speak fast. How's that sound?
All right, that works.
That works? By the way, this is Noah Klein down here on the left. Yeah! When Elizabeth said, you and Jessica come play, I thought, there's no way I can go play with just her. So I have to invite some of the finest musicians. Well, I guess we could have.
That a little faster there.
Okay, yeah. So my first thought was I've got to find some of the finest musicians that I know. And this is Noah Klein, and he's one of those fine musicians. He plays a half a dozen instruments, makes instruments, and he just amazes me. And it's a privilege and an honor for me if he will let me sit down and play music with him. You know, that's how good he is. That's Noah, and you will hear some of his ability here. This guy, Ed Myers. We have played music. Yeah, we have to move on.
Yeah.
We played music together for what, 45 years?
Yes.
So when he does something on his instrument, usually I'm doing the same thing or picking up on what he's doing. And Noah accused us of being an old married couple. Because we happen to say the same thing at the very same time, you know, at the end of the song. But it's been an honor and a privilege to play with this guy too for so many years. He's just a big part of my music. So now we're in this middle of the set. I'll leave this for later. How's that sound? Get on with the rest of the story real quick, and I'll do it as quick as I can. Have you ever woke up from a little nap where you just intended to sleep for just a few minutes or so, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're kind of groggy? You're not even sure where you are or what you've been doing? Well, that happened. And I will tell you right off the bat, it happened to this gentleman. And when he woke up, he had a mandolin in his hands. And Benny Hill was going off. Now you put that combination together and you think about it. So now he's got Benny Hill playing in his ears, a mandolin in his hands, and he wakes up groggy. So anyway, it ends up he starts going, oh yeah, and he picks up his pick and he starts picking and he puts together a little bit of a song. We're on our way to someplace way out in the sticks up in Maryland to a ranch feed. And he says, Andy, I've got this song. He said, it's in my head. This is what, and then he played it a little bit. We're in a pickup truck heading out, you know. And he says, but there's something missing. And I said, all right, give me the mandolin. So I'm picking around the mandolin. He said, that's it. So we put together, he put it together when he got up off the couch. After listening to Benny Hill, 2 parts of it, and then on the way to a ramp feed in the back of a pickup truck.
You wrote the first part.
I wrote the first part for it, so we put it all together. So, but this is called Frankie's Tune because the mandolin that he wrote it on was throw together a bunch of different parts, and we called it Frankenstein. So, it was Frankie's Tune. Are you ready to play Frankie's Tune?
Ready.
All right, here we go. See if I can get right there. So, ready? Nope, that's not right, is it?
Yeah.
That's a fun tune to play. And that's what Benny Hill did to you. If you know who Benny Hill is. See if you had fun, yeah. Well, one of the things that I really like about being able to play music was I've been able to kind of pass some of that on to my kids. And Jessica has really picked up on it, and she does a really good job. She can sing. Yeah, that's why you're my favorite daughter. That's right. But she can sing too, not only just play. So we're going to make her sing. And we invite you. You'll probably know at least the chorus of this song. So please sing along. Pam, Debbie, you got this gentleman up here. I know you can sing. I want to hear some bass. And if you want to come up here and all of you sing, so got it? What are we doing? Hard time. Go ahead.
Just sing it.
Sing. Okay. I guess not. Yes. Okay. Now start singing. Go for it.
Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears, while we all sorrow with more.
guess I got some of that from them. But my dad liked to write as well, and this is one of the songs that he wrote that has stuck in my head. He liked redhead girls. My mom had dark hair. So my dad, since he married a dark-haired girl, he wrote a song about a redhead girl. And this is the song. And I did put one verse into it. And if you'd like to know which verse it is, ask me after we're finished playing today, and I'll tell you which one it was. I was down in Tennessee, hunting in the hills, when she came across that bridge, my poor heart stood still. So upon my watch, on the chain, on the soul that night, when I met that gal with the hair red, I'm so blue and bright. Well, I asked her if she'd marry me. She said, I surely will. If you build a bungalow here amongst the hills. So upon the watch, on the chain, on the soul that night, when I met that gal with the hair red, I'm so blue. Don't play one note. Well, took me home to see her fall. We could marry me. Took my hand, said now she said, don't bring her back to me. So upon the watch and upon the chain, on the soul that night, when I met that gal with the hair red, I'm so blue and bright. Then she took me to the parson's house, made his man and wife. Now somehow I have her home, this time and for life. So upon the watch, on the chain, on the soul that night, when I met that gal with the hair red, I'm so blue and bright. Well, I built a house on the hill, raised a family. Now that house we come home, filled with love and glee. But upon the watch, on the chain, on the soul that night, when I met that gal with the hair red, I'm so blue and bright. Yeah, upon the chain, on the soul that night, when I met that gal with the hair red, I'm so blue and bright. Yeah. All right. Hot diggity dog. Okay. Hot diggity dog. You can just
I don't
stand
know
there. You can just stand there and look good. Get in the G minor.
That's not hard for me to do it.
That's no.
Me either, that's why they told us to do it.
And while he's retuning real quick, this is my daughter, Jessica. My favorite daughter, Jessica. And she's so quick to say. And I guess that makes him my favorite son-in-law.
I'll take it.
You'll take it. This is Dave. He was not a musician at all, I don't think, before he met her. And then we said, if you're in the family, you have got to learn an instrument.
I met him when he was playing music in your basement with my brothers.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Is that where you met him? And we're going to do this song for, I don't think, there she is, back over here, for Noah's mom. Whenever we play out any place, we do this. And I told her the other day, I said, you know why we do this every time you're around? It's because that way she'll let Noah play music with her. You got it? Okay. This is called Catharsis. Listen to the banjo. don't clap. Now you know I brought it along. The first time I heard that song was in a hospital in Key Deep. We're going to a hospital in Ireland. A bunch of kids were playing, and they just said, "This is in G minor, dude." And I finally got it figured out. But after we left Ireland, I came back. I was running around trying to remember the name of the song, and I could not remember it. Some guy down in the cliff top was walking by, and I was talking about it, and he said, "I think you're talking about catharsis." Well, was that the year you were down there, or did I come back home and say, "Noah, have you ever heard of catharsis?" He said, "Yeah, I think so." So anyway, he learned it, and I can't get it out of my head. Whenever we're someplace like that, we got to play it. So it's just and I believe if I remember your history lesson with me, I'm waiting for him to tune. That's why I'm still talking.
Oh, okay. In the water here now.
He told me that the girl that wrote that, her boyfriend called her and said, "I'm in town, but I've got company with me. I'm going to bring him over too." And she said, "No, you're not." And she sat down and composed that song. That's what that was all about. She was mad at her boyfriend. So I don't know if you can hear that in there or not. Got it? Okay, this is another sing-along. We want you to help us sing along. And my father always told me, he says, don't sing anything in church. Or listen, don't sing anything outside the church that you won't sing in the church. So I don't have any trouble with this song. It's no Jimmy Buffett tune. because I couldn't believe how many people were actually singing all of that. Jimmy Buffett fans, were you singing too? Okay.
They did the words better than you did,
Yeah, they did. They need to sing louder so they can prompt me. We're going to sing a song now called The Vacant Chair, and that's all I'm allowed to say about it. I'll explain it a little bit more after we're done singing. Got it?
Jessica was supposed to talk while you were tuning, right?
Yes, it
No,
was.
she wasn't, okay.
Or you can talk.
No, it wasn't my turn.
Okay. So,
I'm student too.
ready? Got her note?
But we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him when we breathe our evening prayer. When a year ago we gathered, joy was in his palm blue eyes. What a golden cord was severed, and our hopes in ruin lie. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him when we breathe our evening prayer. At our fireside sad and lonely, often will the bosom swell at remembrance of the story, how our noble Willie fell, how we strove to bear our banner through the thickest of the fight, and uphold our country's honor in the strength of manhood's might. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him when we breathe our evening prayer. They tell us trees of glory evermore will deck his brow, but this soothes the anguish only, sweeping o'er our heartstrings now. Sleep today, a worry fallen in thy green and narrow bed. Dirges from the pine and cypress mingle with the tears we've shed. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him when we breathe our evening prayer.
And the song is about one of the guys that carried the banners in the Civil War, and they were targets. There were some battles where as many as 6 or 7 of the banner carriers, or the ones that carried the flags, they were targeted to a point where sometimes 6 or 7 would die in one battle, and the men would volunteer. They would run in and pick it up so that the standard didn't fall and touch the ground, or to keep it waving. So that's what the song is about, and it's actually was written by somebody in the north. It was, I can't remember the, do you remember the name? But I can't tell that story before we sing it because she gets to thinking about it. And about halfway through, she starts tearing up. She said, Dad, don't tell the story before we sing the song. So, anyway, I didn't tell the story before, and now you know what it's all about.
And Willie did exist.
Yeah.
He was a real person.
It is a song, a true story. And if you, are you tuned up for Price Bain? Somehow Noah is tied in with this song. And it's an uncle?
Price Bain was my grandmother's great uncle, and she was very close to
There you
him. And then the tune came by, I found a recording of Bill Wellington had recorded Tom Welch back in the late 70s for the Grant County Arts Council.
And, yeah, you know Tom Welch, that was Israel Welch's brother.
And Tom and Israel learned it from Tom Thrush, who was a mentor to them.
The song has a way of coming around, and he normally plays it on the fiddle, but he played the other night on the banjo. I said, it really rolls off the banjo nice, so. Okay, it's all yours.
D or G?
D.
D. I thought it was G. Oh, man. I'm glad you told me. My chords would not have. Guys,
You want to play guitar?
You want me to play it?
Is that all right?
does he play guitar on this one? Oh, well, give me the mandolin.
He said he played it with Israel, so.
Okay, you want that? You want this one?
Yeah. About as organized as we normally are.
That's one time where we were not thinking on the same page yet.
No.
Indeed, do I play this one?
No.
Go ahead.
I hope that I can remember now.
He called it the German waltz, but since it has a family connection, I'm a little biased, so
Yeah.
I go by the Price Bain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is another sing-along. Any of you born before 1970?
That was a loaded question.
Very.
Yeah, it's tough to be nice. So you'll probably will have heard this song growing up. I think Peter Paul Berry did. I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think we're in the key G.
You know, I just don't know which one you're talking about.
That's in the key G. Right there's a list. Can you? You can't see that
No,
far.
I can't see that far. You know, it could have been sold before or anything. You know.
You got it?
should know better.
You didn't know better, yeah. Got it? Old Stu Ball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. Never drank water, only drank wine. Old Fido was silver, and his mane it was gold. Worth of his saddle that's never been told. Old fairgrounds were crowded, old Stu Ball was there, but the betting was heavy on the way and the mare. And way out yonder, ahead of them all, came a prancing and dancing, my noble Stu Ball. I bet on the great man, I bet on the bay. If I bet on old Stu Ball, I'd be a rich man today. But the hoot-owl she hollered, and the turtles up-rolled. I'm a poor boy in trouble, I'm a long way from home. Old Stu Ball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he'd only drink wine. Yeah, I want some of you to remember that. Oh, thanks. We're gonna do one that I wrote now. Anybody know where the South Branch of the Potomac River is? I think that is a yes. We're gonna be indeed. Anybody know where the trough is? Anybody ever been down through the trough? Okay, if you've been down through there, there's an eddy at the end of that, pretty close to the end, called Bowman's Eddy. You know where there used to be a house down there on the left-hand side. I think it finally got washed out in 85 or 95. But apparently some pretty big-name people. My dad always told me that John F. Kennedy actually spent some time in there one time. So that's where Bowman's Eddy is. And if you've ever been on it, it's a long, just real slow-moving section of the river. And it's a good place. If you've got a flat bottom boat, you're going to have to work to get to it. If you've got a canoe, you can get to it pretty easy. But it's a good place to just kind of lean back and put a foot over one side or the other. Maybe throw a pole out because you really don't want to be interrupted. Because you just want to, it's just so peaceful and so nice. That's what this song is all about. It's called South Branch. And it's about that long, slow eddy at the end of the trough.
show was pretty.
You like that?
Oh, I was transcendent. Matter of fact, I think I'm still a little wet from the boat. Okay. Okay, for a couple of things I wanted to say is, aren't they amazing? Just beautiful. I have a few thank yous to, I want to thank the people at St. Stephen's for letting us use this beautiful sanctuary. And I want to thank the Arts Council for helping to make this an important thing to do. And I want to thank you for coming and making it important and letting the music heal and fill you as it should, you know, as it's supposed to be, in these intimate settings where it's just more accessible. The concert will be over soon, whenever they decide it's over, actually. I've been told.
Whenever when?
Whenever you decide it's over.
Oh, okay.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, how long you want to
4
stay?
o'clock was the time, whatever. But we will be serving a nice little repast in if that's the right word, yes, in the house next door. And there will be some beverages and some sweets and some savories, and we hope that you'll stick around. There's also a restroom right inside there, because I didn't mention that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming, and we'll look for September for the next tiny studio concert, and perhaps we'll continue here, or perhaps they'll go back into the studio. I guess it just depends, but I think St. Stephen's likes us, and I think we'll see how that all plays out. Thank you so much.
Oh, by the way, thanks for the invitation.
Oh, yes, and also, if you, just to let you know, there's a donation jar at the table if you missed it. And all of that money goes to the band, not one cent or goes to anything else, but it just goes to that. I'll be sitting at the back table along with my husband who started.
Well, in case you didn't hear, Elizabeth, thank you for the invitation. We appreciate it.
It's my
And
pleasure to have you.
we all come from what used to be part of Hampshire County. They won't let us play over there as a group, so we come over here and play.
Yeah. We're glad to have you.
This is a song that I really enjoy playing. It's kind of, well, you listen to it and tell me what you think.
Dark.
Could be, yeah, dark. You ready? Good evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Do you miss the man of the understand? Don't know me, but I know that Christ I know, you normally are.
He's your own guitar.
Can I borrow your mandolin? Yeah, okay. I do have my own mandolin back here, but Ed likes to hear his played, so I play it. This is another original song. Took my family camping one years ago down the Holly River. We took our fishing poles because we'd heard Holly River, state park, and my boys wanted to fish, so we took our fishing poles. The Holly River is not much wider than this, and it's not very deep at all. They did manage to catch a big bucket full of crawdads. And I don't know if it was legal or not, but we actually put them in a pot, boiled them up over the campfire, and we ate crawdads. Didn't have any fish to eat, but we did have some crawdads. Well, I had just bought a mandolin, I think this one back here, and we were sitting around the camp, and I didn't have anything else to do except play my mandolin, so I put together this little ditty, and I called it Holly River Waltz. And I'm running out of things to say, Ed.
It's like, okay.
That's the first.
Yeah, that's the first. I just said that. I want to see what he would do. It's in the key of G. You got it?
All right, we'll figure it out.
That's what this is called. Holly River Waltz. Ready?
Okay, put my guitar away.
Yeah, put that away. We're going to do another sing-along. All right, are you still on the mood to sing? Oh, yeah. Okay, good enough. This is one of my favorite songs. Got her know? When I was a boy, family would travel western Kentucky, where my parents were born. There's a blackbird old town, soft time to remember. Many times that my memory Are your butts getting tired on the? Well, we're gonna skip the one, I think, and move down to Room for the Poor. We're gonna let her sing one. And you may know this one too, at least chorus at the end. You gotta wait clear to the end of the song before you hear the chorus. This is a Utah Phillips thing.
Utah Phillips, yeah.
And we got it off of. Well, I don't know. You want, hey Pam, you want to come up and sing this one with us?
Yeah.
Go ahead, go on, Pam. It'll give me time to tune, Pam. She's going to sing lead. We just want you to.
It's room for the poor. You know this one.
Yeah,
You know this one.
that's what we've
Yeah.
got room.
You talking about, I thought it was Rain on the Hills West Virginia.
No,
Oh, no.
I'll sing this one for you.
You're gonna have to prime my ear a little bit. Got it? Yeah.
One cold autumn morning, leaves had turned brown. A hobo came tramping through a small western town. He walked through the churchyard to the preacher's back door, where he knew there was room for the poor. He knocked and then waited for the preacher to come with just a kind word for a broken down bum. The preacher arrived and looked out in dismay. With a few angry words, he drive him away. Oh, if you won't offer me something to eat, may I sit here a moment and rest my poor feet. I've traveled so far now, and I'm weary and sore. Oh, say up in heaven, is there room for the poor? Is there room for the poor across the divide, where bums don't go hungry and freezing outside? Or will they be driven from the Savior's back door? Oh, say up in heaven, is there room for the poor? room for the poor. Oh, say up in heaven is there room for the poor.
I've got two more on the list. This is a sing-along, so we expect you to sing along with us. Key G still. And I have been told I am not allowed to tell my story about this song, so I won't say a word. Most of the kids in Mineral County are going around with a lie in their head because of this story that I tell them.
Not true. What's that back there? Some tune in.
Just go read through real quick. I know it tunes all the time. I want a chance. Right there. That's it. Okay. You have to sing on this one. I've sung this song all around the world. And every place I've been, everybody knows it. So, there will be a Guinness stout when we were in Ireland. I will tell this story, and I'll keep it as short as I can. My brother-in-law, who married my sister, and my wife, who is my brother-in-law's sister. How about that? Are you following all that? Yeah. We're right with you. Our children are double first cousins. Okay?
Which means we're a mess.
Yeah, yeah. And this West Virginia, so it's all legal. We made a trip to Ireland back in 2020. Let's see, when was it? It was 2013, yes. Because it was our 250th birthday as a state of West Virginia, right? 2013. We were in a pub in, I forget what town, in Ireland. And my brother-in-law and I, we took our instruments along, and we walked in, and there were a couple of young fellas sitting up there playing music, and we had our instruments, and they invited us up. And so we're sitting there, it's June 20th, 2013, 250th birthday of the state of West Virginia. And one of the boys looks at us and he says, "You're not from around here, are you?" Why would you think that? No, we're not. And somebody out in the audience hollered, "Would you happen to know country roads?" And he said, "This is our 250th birthday as a state, and we are from West Virginia." "What do you mean, do we know country roads?" So, we played country roads, and after we got done, the whole pub sang. And they all stood up and sang all with us. The whole pub. When we got done, I very graciously accepted a Guinness. I think they come in pints. And my brother-in-law, he wouldn't drink a Guinness. He wanted imported beer, so he asked for a Bud Light. So, I want you to sing along with, right? Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is over there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. do one more, we'll send you out of here with a peppy tune. You don't want my guitar, Ed.
No, no.
It plays too hard. Yep, getting into the key of D. We'll end with this one. It's a nice peppy tune. Ooh.
Knocked it out, too, don't worry.
Give me an A. There we go. Give me G. Now give me D. There it is. I'm gonna beat it out of tune anyway, so.
That really don't matter.
Yeah, this song, we used to start off. I don't know if you all ever watched any Warner Brother cartoons. Some of the good cartoons. Yeah. And
Frog on the leg.
is that who sang this?
Yeah, Frog on the leg one thing.
But I think you're right. It was either him. Yeah, it was him, but it was someone I can't. There we go. But anyway, you'd hear him singing, I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Won't my daddy be so proud of me? 'Cause I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. And by the way, if you've noticed, this hand here, he was playing with honeybees. And
Oh, with a glove.
no offense. But his hand's a little bit bigger than it should be. So, we're gonna do the Bumblebee song. Is that what you want to hear, Dave? Okay? And I have fun on this song, so if I get up here and dance around. Ready? what's this thing? I've got one more on the list that we skipped. Now, stand up there for about another 10 seconds. Stretch the rib. Get the kink out of your backside. We've been standing up here, so it's about 2 minutes. And you don't have to sit down if you don't want to. There is a chorus on this song, and we invite you to sing along. It is, Lord, preserve us and protect us. And we don't recommend this, but we've been drinking whiskey for breakfast. So, all right, go ahead and start it now.